This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 10th day of September in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. President Irfan Ali has announced that he will be seeking the help of the British and the Regional Security Service to assist local police in their probe of the murders on the west coast of Berbice, which have triggered widespread protests in several villages.
In consultation with the Guyana Police Force, I've engaged a mechanism in which I'll be reaching out to the British government and the RSS, which is the Regional Security Infrastructure, to come to Guyana in support of the Guyana Police Force investigative capacity. Fellow Guyanese, we have to get to the bottom of this. And whatever support is needed, I will reach to that support. So as a result, in helping and ensuring that we do all we can to get to the bottom of this in our investigation as quickly as possible, in a professional manner, I will be reaching out to the British government and the RSS.
The president also said there is a need to get to the bottom of the murders. Teenage cousins Joel and Isaiah Henry were found murdered in the Cotton Tree Bank Dam on Sunday. A post-mortem examination yesterday revealed that they died from multiple chop wounds to the body, including to the head and back, resulting in a severed spine for both of the teens. And yesterday, the 17-year-old grandson of one of the suspects in the double murder was found dead in the back dam at No. 3 Village, West Coast, Berbice, hours after he left his home to visit a farm. The police said he was murdered and his motorcycle torched. There was a wound to his head, the crime chief reported. President Ali, in his Wednesday night address, said he will seek all help needed to ensure a thorough probe, and he's also exploring the setting up of an international commission of inquiry into the incidents.
The events surrounding these horrific acts and barbaric acts of murder, which led to the criminality that saw the loss of property, that saw even the loss of life. People being chopped, robbed, brutally assaulted, requires a more comprehensive and holistic review. And as such, we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to understand who instigated, what was instigated. So as a result of that, I'm exploring the commissioning of a commission of inquiry, an international commission of inquiry, an international commission of inquiry, to look at every aspect of this situation, to look beyond what took place on the ground, to look at the behavior that came about as a result of statements made. The COI is important for us to have a comprehensive understanding as to what took place.
The president revealed that he has asked the Attorney General to explore within the United Nations system all means available to hold to account all those who spread race hate and instigate racial strife.
I've asked the Attorney General to explore within the UN system all means available to hold to account all those who spread race hate and instigate racial strife.
The address by the president last evening was the second for the day. In an earlier address, he sought to lay blame on the doorsteps of the opposition for the situation on the west coast of Berbice, claiming that the opposition has been inciting the protesters. It's a charge that the opposition has denied and said the government must act to ensure justice is served in the brutal matters. More news coming up in just a moment.
Falls, the official distributors of Castrol Marine, Mining and Power Gen lubricants in Guyana, now has in stock CRB engine oils, high-spin hydraulic oil, Vecton semi-synthetic truck oils, and Sultex cylinder oils. For the best prices, check our dealers countrywide or visit Falls Gas Station at Land of Canaan, East Bank, Demerara, or call the commercial manager on 608-4998. Castrol, it's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
All the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We
are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
For all the Zoom hashouts and recipe tryouts, the world changed and we were right there, standing with you, always near, getting closer in so many ways, laughing together as we face these days. And because we are Caribbean, we've got a special insight that tells us there's no need to worry, world. We'll be all right.
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Welcome back. Opposition leader Joe Harmon on Thursday said President Irfan Ali's statement in an address to the nation that children were being raped at the West Berbice protests are false and were meant to stir and incite hate. In his address to the nation on Wednesday, the president claimed that persons, including children, had been raped as a result of the roadblocks which were part of the protest. But the Guyana Police Force has not received any reports of rape, according to senior police sources. The opposition leader in his statement today said it is clear that the president was creating his own facts.
You may be entitled to your own opinion, but not to your own facts. You're baselessly branding protesters as rapists. It is disrespectful, contemptuous, and an expression of disdain for those Guyanese who are outraged at the heinous killing of Isaiah and Joel Henry, and most recently, Harish Singh and Chatterpal Harry Paul. Mr. Ali's statement about children being raped is patently and wholly false. The specter of rape has been consistently misused by the PPP to fearmonger and incite the public towards hostility.
Mr. Harmon reminded of previous cases when the People's Progressive Party recklessly called out incidents as rape when there were no such rape incidents.
These acts belittles the actual rape victims and minimizes their trauma and pain, when in fact no such action took place. At a time when the nation requires calm, caring, and unifying leadership, Mr. Ali's statement defiles the presidency and actual victims of rape and being consumed in laying blame.
The opposition leader also said at a time when the president should be seeking to work with others to quell the situation in the West Berbice area, he appears busy playing politics. Harmon said the APNU-AFC has been consistent in its position against violent protests. He reminded that it was the APNU-AFC members of parliament who traveled to the West Berbice area on Wednesday to meet with relatives of the dead teens and the protesting villagers. In the security sector, with a plan to be tough on crime and to modernize the country's crime-fighting capabilities, the government is allocating $38.9 billion in the budget to aid the security sector. In the budget presentation, Public Works Minister Bishop Juan Egil said additional resources will be deployed to improve investigative and forensic capabilities and provide equipment, facilities, and training for law enforcement.
Government will also focus on expanding the use of ICT in the fight against crime, providing better remuneration and conditions for the officers in our security forces, and ensuring greater accountability by the police force to solving crime. Further, our administration will work to reform the prison system to improve conditions and ensure compulsory training and educational opportunities for prisoners, security and safety of prison officers. Government is allocating $38.9 billion in 2020 budget to propel this agenda.
Minister Egil also said over $1 billion has been allocated to complete the modernization and rehabilitation works at a number of police stations across the country.
These stations include headquarters at Anna Regina, Fort Wellington, Mabaruma, Golden Grove, Madhya. In addition, police stations will be constructed at Cove and John, Brickdam, Matthews Ridge, Lenora, Lethem, Wim, Albion, Perico, Wisman, Madhya. Additionally, government has set aside $428.1 million for the procurement of 50 vehicles to ensure our police officers are adequately equipped to fight crime.
And it was also announced that in the area of prison reform and improvement, the administration will continue to invest in the provision of training opportunities for both inmates and prison management staff. Additionally, it will continue to work on the Mazaruni and Georgetown prisons and will commence reconstruction of the Lusignan prison. Other prison facilities are to be upgraded. The Minister of Home Affairs, Robeson Ben, is expected to detail more of the government's plans for the security sector when the budget debates begin. In the world of politics now, with no reason given, the recently elected PPP Civic Administration has terminated the services of the General Counsel at the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, Amanza Walton Desir. Walton Desir received her termination letter last Thursday, 2 days after she took the oath as a member of Parliament for the APNU-AFC. The attorney was actually hired at the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority back in 2013, 2 years before the APNU-AFC got to power, and under the previous PP Civic government. She was not a political appointee. She also worked in the Office of the Prime Minister at the Ministry of Works and Communications under the PPP. There were never any complaints against her or the work she did at the Civil Aviation Authority as General Counsel. The attorney told News Source that no reason was given for her dismissal, and she intends to challenge it in the courts. News Source understands that the head of the Civil Aviation Authority was instructed by his subject minister to relieve Walton Desir of her duties. The termination letter was signed by the Director General, Egbert Field. Sources familiar with the dismissal believe that Walton Desir was terminated because she joined the APNU-AFC and campaigned for the coalition at the last election, and will now serve as a member of Parliament. It is believed that the attorney was targeted for her political leaning, but GCAA sources have said they found the dismissal strange, especially since the same PP Civic government has retained the services of the Liberty and Justice Party presidential candidate Lennox Schumann as an advisor on civil aviation matters. Schumann is also an opposition member of Parliament for his party as part of the joiner list. Well, the opposition has issued a call for Commissioner in the Ethnic Relations Commission Roshan Khan to be removed from the post. The call comes in wake of Mr. Khan's call via a Facebook post for Indo-Guyanese in the Berbice area to arm themselves. His statement was made on Wednesday in the height of widespread protests across the West Berbice area over the double murder of cousins Joel and Isaiah Henry. Khan, who represents the Muslim community on the ERC, came in for widespread criticism for the post. He attempted twice to edit his comments and offer an apology, but received more backlash over the tone-deaf statement. Today, opposition leader Joe Harmon said Roshan Khan has proven himself to be unfit to sit on the Ethnic Relations Commission. He said Khan's comments were racist and divisive, and he ought to be removed or remove himself from the ERC.
We call for the immediate removal of Mr. Roshan Khan from the Ethnic Relations Commission following his divisive and racial statements on social media. He is no longer fit to sit on the ERC and must be removed forthwith.
Roshan Khan's statement was made even as the Ethnic Relations Commission was issuing calls for calm and peace along the West Berbice area, which saw increased protest action over the past 3 days. Guyana has now recorded 47 additional COVID-19 cases and 1 more death. The total number of deaths now stands at 49. According to the Ministry of Health, the latest fatality is a 65-year-old man from Region 4. He passed away in the hospital. There are now 14 persons in the COVID-19 intensive care unit. The total number of active cases is 597, with 547 of those active cases isolating themselves at home. The Ministry of Health has also reported that the number of recoveries has increased to 1,088. On Wednesday, during the national budget presentation, the government announced that it was pumping close to $2 billion in the country's COVID-19 fight. A big chunk of that money will be going towards the purchase of equipment and protective gear for frontline health workers. A Maikoni pork knocker who was working in the Kanawaruk Bag Dam at Whitewater Mountain was crushed to death on Wednesday by falling rocks. The dead miner has been identified as 59-year-old Dunstan John, also known as Rambo. According to a police statement, John and a colleague were working along with 2 other punters when, while working at the edge of a cliff, several big rocks started to fall down on them. The other 3 pork knockers were able to run to safety, but John got trapped in the pit. His crushed body was dug out from the area late last night. The body has since been brought out of the area and the police have launched an investigation. On the police blotter, police investigators in the Essequibo Coast community of Golden Fleece have arrested a man over the stabbing death of his ex-girlfriend over a telephone call she received. 24-year-old Supernam resident Lanisa Peters was attacked by the ex-boyfriend last evening, who was at her house when she received a call from another man. The two had broken up, but the ex-boyfriend was reportedly visiting the woman's house to make up with her. A police report said the woman arrived home to find the man sitting in the house, and he became angry after hearing her on the phone with someone else. He reportedly grabbed the woman and dragged her to the kitchen, where he armed himself with a knife and stabbed her repeatedly. An aunt who was in the house bolted from the scene in search for help. The woman was taken to the Suddy Hospital, where doctors pronounced her dead. Crime scene investigators found the murder weapon, and the suspect has since been arrested. A full investigation is on the way. Well, 1 day after the Director of Public Prosecution's advised murder charges, the Guyana Police Force charged 2 quarantine men for the stabbing murder of 27-year-old Orlando Jonas. The murder was caught on camera. The man was attacked while making his way home on the afternoon of the 5th of September, when he was approached by the 2 accused, 25-year-old Samson Gagaprashad and 27-year-old Krishnan Dalal. The 2 men were not required to enter a plea to the indictable charge, and they will make their next court appearance on the 29th of September. The construction worker Orlando Jonas was walking along the roadway after work in the company of a friend when they came under attack by the 2 men. Jonas was slashed to the neck and repeatedly stabbed, while his friend was slashed across the face, but managed to escape. The 2 men calmly rode away from the scene after the murder. Across the Region is coming up next. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
We all know a strong educational foundation is a key to successful learning. Global Technology combines award-winning curriculum with innovative technology and teacher support to help students reach their potential. Our online platform creates an engaging learning experience. Using any device, you can be a part of amazing class discussions, collaborate with others, and have access to virtual learning software. With our multiple payment methods, you will never have to leave home. Find out how Global Technology can allow you to learn anything, anywhere, at any time.
Falls, the official distributors of Castrol Marine, Mining and Power Gen Lubricants in Guyana, now has in stock CRB engine oils, high-spin hydraulic oil, Vecton semi-synthetic truck oils, and Sultex cylinder oils. For the best prices, check our dealers countrywide or visit Falls Gas Station at Land of Canaan, East Bank, Demerara, or call the commercial manager on 608-4998. Castrol, it's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Mobil Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobil Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Across the region right now, the Planning Institute of Jamaica has reported that the real gross domestic product for the Jamaican economy contracted by an estimated 18% in April to June of this year, compared with the corresponding quarter of 2019. Dr. Wayne Henry of the organization said the outturn for the April to June 2020 period largely reflected the impact of the implementation of measures to manage COVID-19. Those measures included the closure of international borders to passenger movement, which curtailed external demand and essentially halted all tourist-related activities. The implementation of the curfews, which restricted the movement of people, and the opening hours of businesses also adversely impacted the demand. Henry also noted that the organization's estimates during January to March 2020 that the economy contracted by 1.7% was followed by a subsequent estimate from the Statistical Institute that a contraction of 2.3% was nearer to the reality. The Bahamas plans to reopen beaches and major hotels from the 15th of October as the country implements Phase 3 of the Tourism Readiness and Recovery Plan ahead of the busy holiday season. The Minister of Tourism announced the date of the third phase on Monday. He also said that all hotel guests must abide by a 14-day vacation in place, which will allow guests access to all amenities, including hotel spas, gyms, bars, and more. Additionally, Phase 3 will also see the reopening of attractions, excursions, and tours. Ahead of the reopening, the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism and Aviation is working with airline partners to secure direct airlift from key markets, where the curve has been flattened. And finally, tonight, international news. The BBC reports tonight that hackers with ties to Russia, China, and Iran are attempting to spy on people and groups involved with the US 2020 presidential election. That's according to Microsoft. The Russian group which hacked the 2016 Democratic campaign is again involved in cyber attacks, said the tech firm. Microsoft said it was clear that foreign activity groups have stepped up their efforts targeting the election. Both President Donald Trump and Democrat Joe Biden's campaigns are being targeted. Russian hackers from the Strontium Group have targeted more than 200 organizations, many of which are linked to U.S. political parties, both Republicans and Democrats, according to Microsoft. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting.